All right, so we're in here. It's been a while. So this is on Trump and the GE. Trump gets indicted. So it's been a lot of goings on about former President Trump over the past couple of weeks, whether Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg would or would not indict former President Trump. I've known about investigations involving State Attorney General Letitia James and regulators or authorities in Georgia over apparently Trump's interference in the election results in Georgia, and also his potential involvement in the January 6th so-called coup attempt in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol building. But I wasn't aware of any investigation by Alvin Bragg. So he made history. Nothing else. Alvin Bragg has made history, and former President Donald Trump made history again, which seems to be what they've been doing over the past decade, making history. He was indicted twice. He was impeached twice when he made history. Nothing came of it, though. I've been telling people in the community nothing was going to come up those impeachment hearings. Nothing came of it. Apparently the Russians did when he got elected. Nothing came of that either. That investigation, whether Russia helped him become president. Seemed like it was all a bunch of nonsense and all a bunch of saber rattling and a bunch of happy talk from the Democrats who talked to Russia and the whole time Trump was president and created a distraction the whole time Trump was president and tried to undermine his authority and tried to lather the public up for to defeat a Trump reelection campaign where they went on about we need to resist Trump, so on and so forth. So here we go again, making history with the first time a former president has been indicted. And here's an article from The Guardian. I want to be technical here. To describe the indictment. It says, so I'm not sure. Apparently there's over 30 counts, but nobody knows exactly what's in the indictment yet because it's sort of sealed. But it says here, Donald Trump has built his career on brazenness, a man without shame. He has hurtled on apparently unstoppably through serial scandals, 2 impeachments, electoral rejection, and armed insurrection by his supporters. Now he is setting another grim precedent as the first former U.S. president in history to be charged with a criminal offense. Half a century after the first investigation to his business dealings, a New York grand jury has been voted to indict him. But even if he cannot bluster or bully his way out, he will keep fighting the law, and the law may not win. That the case relates to hush money to the adult film star Stormy Daniels is at once apt and disconcerting. Apt in that its tawdriness and banality encapsulate the man. Disconcerting in that it appears almost inconsequential beside the damage he has wrought upon the nation. He still faces multiple other civil and criminal charges. On the latter score alone, he is being investigated in relation to potential mishandling of classified documents, attempt to overturn his loss in Georgia in the 2020 election, and obstructing the transfer of power as part of the Justice Department's probe of the January 6th insurrection. Many would have seen charges brought against him. Many would have seen charges brought against him on one of these grounds. So apparently it's involving some hush money involving Stormy Daniels. And apparently he paid Stormy Daniels not to say something when he was running for president. And what law he broke, I guess we'll soon find out once the indictment is unsealed. But a red flag is that a grand jury found the evidence substantial enough to go to trial. Now, whether this is a misdemeanor offense or a federal offense remains to be seen. But the grand jury thinks there's enough evidence to go to trial, which in my mind is a red flag. But here's a counterpoint from Byron Donalds, who Congressman from Florida, who spoke on the indictment and called it, pretty much political. I'm going to try to share my screen right quick.
Expected to voluntarily turn himself in New York on Tuesday after his indictment by Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg. Supporters of the former president gathering outside his home at Mar-a-Lago. Joining me now, Florida Congressman Byron Donald. Congressman, it's always great to see you. I want to get your reaction to what's happening right now.
This is a travesty. It's a travesty for the country. Look, you have a guy in Alvin Bragg who's taking some issues from 7 years ago. And I say issues because the FEC chose not to bring any charges or fines to the Trump campaign. The Department of Justice looked at this. They said there's nothing to see here. And so he's using some misdemeanor that's actually outside the statute of limitations to bring a felony on a federal charge that's outside his jurisdiction. So this is political persecution of Donald Trump. Alvin Bragg is doing the thing that the radical left has been wanting to do from the second he stood up and said, I want to be the president of the United States because Hillary Clinton will be an absolute disaster. And he stopped the radical left agenda dead in his tracks. They have hated him for it ever since, and they have continued to go after him. And now you're seeing the results of this. This is terrible for the country.
And it's really interesting.
Okay, those are all probably facts. And one of the hardest things is to get the public to understand something when something is true and false at the same time. Those are all facts he's speaking, but the fact that the grand jury thinks there's enough evidence to go to trial is also a fact, and it's a red flag. So, is this political? It seems to be political on the face of it, because a lot of the saber rattling about, Russia got Trump elected and Trump being impeached twice and making history seems to be a bunch of saber rattling and partisan politics. Would Alvin Bragg have brought these charges against a former president who was a Democrat? Maybe, maybe not. But can we imagine a former president being this mercurial and being this outlandish in terms of Trump's involvement in all these different matters? Hard to even envision another president. Maybe in recent memory, Bill Clinton, who've gotten this much vitriol from the other side and been involved in so much controversy, whether it's political and potential involvement in voting matters or political potential involvement in so-called insurrection or what have you. So the Republicans are adamant that this is a reach by Alvin Bragg, that he really doesn't have the evidence. This is like small potatoes compared to other things going on, and that Trump will prevail. That said, Alvin Bragg could be a risk. If it is as what the Republicans say, that this is a reach and it's partisan politics, his own career could be at risk. Alvin Bragg's own career could be at risk, and I guarantee you that the Republicans are going to come at him with everything they have. They're going to try to destroy his credibility. They're going to try to destroy his political career, what career he has left. So this is not Alvin Bragg is not out of the woods here. There's definitely a risk for him as well. The other thing is that Republicans have also come out on behalf of former President Trump, and this is a little bit unusual in that his potential opponents have come out on his behalf. DeSantis, the governor in Florida, has come out on his behalf. Lindsey Graham has said this is a bunch of malarkey and that is partisan politics. His former competitor for the presidential election in 2016, Jeb Bush, has said that this is all political. So they've come out on behalf of President Trump, said this is bad for the country. It's unprecedented in a bad way, and that he should not have to face these charges, and that something needs to be done about this. I think former President Trump's son, said that the U.S. has become nothing more than a banana republic. You have a bunch of people in power and their cronies running around making decisions based on politics and not the rule of law. So the stakes are high. Everybody's watching. Alvin Bragg's on the hot seat. President Trump's on the hot seat, which seems to be, he likes it that way. I think he likes competition. New York's going to be hot next week. Down there by the courthouse, it's probably going to be a madhouse. I'm sure it's going to be well defended. Lots of authority, lots of police down there. and authorities down there to protect the streets of New York and protect the courthouse and ensure that what happened at the Capitol building in D.C. doesn't happen in New York. There may be a lot of protesters down there. I would advise people stay from down there. But that's pretty much it. I mean, the Democrats say that they have the facts and they have the evidence, and the Republicans say this is all partisan politics. So we'll soon find out. That's Trump and the GE and Trump indicted. Thank you for listening.